The area in the Black Hills area is very dependent on the Madison limestone aquifer. The numbers vary from anywhere from 50 to 80 million acre feet of water in the Madison and the Black Hills, or in the South Dakota area. It's not all that's accessible because some of it's bad quality water. It's warm and it's got other minerals in it and stuff. So the only place that the water is really great quality in the Madison and produces good yield of wells is right next to Black Hills. So that's dependent on recharge and just precipitation. We shouldn't think that the Madison is, there for everybody for all time. It has a certain amount of water in it that can be removed without adversely affecting some of the spring sources and the streams around the Black Hills that we think are so important. The Madison's actually very extensive region. It's got, five states and three um, provinces in Canada that have the Madison underneath it. But here's the thing that's the ringer. Almost all the water in South Dakota anyway that gets into the Madison that we're using falls as rain in the Black Hills. This is the recharge zone. And if you're not getting rain from that drought happening, then you got a double whammy. You got extra pumpage that's happening from the Madison, and you got reduced recharge. And there'll be a time when, um, it'll just be overworked and overused, and water level, and there'll be adverse consequences that everybody will be up in the air about. So we need to consider that as a resource to be carefully managed, because it's, I always hate to use a double negative, but it's not inexhaustible.
While we're working on those efforts to assess those aquifers and what they have available, we knew that the Missouri River was a viable option.
If the Madison Aquifer is not recharging fast enough to support our population growth, then we will start to notice that in our streams and our lakes dropping and drying up. Our quality of life, the reason people move here, will be impacted.
We have 35 members of Western Dakota Regional Water already, and many join for a variety of reasons. Some need a brand new source of water. They're struggling with having enough quality water. Some want it for redundancy, their backup, should anything happen to current supplies, which might be surface water or groundwater. Some, though, really truly from a quality standpoint, it might be where their well is, in which aquifer, on the edges of an aquifer, and that sort of thing.
We receive approximately 80% of our water supply from the Missouri River. We've been using Missouri River water for about 23 years now, and it's great quality. It's just a phenomenal source of continuous clean water. I grew up in Phillip, and the water was absolutely horrible growing up, and so when we were turned on to Missouri River water, it was really a life changer. The Missouri River water is indispensable to South Dakota, and I feel that the entire state should have the opportunity to use that resource.
The Missouri River is a little bit like Arizona's Colorado River. For many years, the Colorado River, both the major population centers in the state weren't able to access that water. So Phoenix and Tucson couldn't access it, much like South Dakota. Our major population centers aren't on the river. They're Sioux Falls, and Rapid City put together the Bureau reclamation efforts, and it was a $2.5 billion effort to build a open channel pipeline, not a pipeline, sorry, open channel aqueduct all the way from Bullhead City area to Phoenix to Tucson, and they got it done. And Tucson was the largest city in the country, totally dependent on groundwater, and now they have that alternative supply of water. And I see it a real corollary here with South Dakota. Our population centers are away now. Sioux Falls, of course, has got Missouri River water. We don't. And the idea of being able to have that alternative supply of water, I think, is going to be pretty darn important. So
Well, the why of the Missouri River is a really good one. If you look at requirements that the Bureau of Reclamation would make us go through as we work through this study, they will make us look at a variety of alternatives. And the reason we started with the Missouri River was to have any sort of viable alternative, we have to start with a water source that we know long-term is viable. And, looking at the historical record of the Missouri River, we know that even under low flow conditions, as Mark mentioned earlier, that it's going to have the water supply that we would need to sustain a long-term, reliable, high-quality water supply. The Bureau has two different levels of study that you will go through. You start with an appraisal level, and that type of effort looks at, is there a viable solution to the problems that you're trying to address? So water quality, sustainable water supply, the Missouri River checks those boxes for us. That's not to say that our local water supplies don't have more water available in them. The things that we don't know yet is what limitations would we have in a 1930s style drought.
For the state of South Dakota, the Missouri River is really the only place you can go and get a new water right. Everything's booked up. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go convert a water right that's now in irrigation to municipal use or something, but very difficult to go to the state and say, okay, I want a new water right for Rapid Creek. I'm not gonna get it. It's fully appropriated. That's pretty much the whole state, except the Missouri River.
All the upper Missouri River states are looking at the percentage of the Missouri River that the upper basin states use. It's such a small percentage of the flow that it's, it is that reliable resource that to this point has largely been untapped.
I'm on Missouri River water at my house. It tastes great. My family and I drink water out of the tap, but it's just a great source, and there's plenty of it to treat. The challenge is delivering the treated water and getting it to the folks that need it.
As we look at different water supplies and ease of treatment, the first thing that we look at is the mineral content of the water. And from that perspective, the Missouri River really is a high quality water source. Now, this area is blessed with naturally high quality groundwaters as well. But when it comes to treating a surface water, specifically in this part of the world where we have the opportunity to either take the water right out of the reservoirs or, close to it, those reservoirs actually provide some level of treatment by settling out a lot of the suspended materials, which that's when it comes to surface water, the solid materials are really the challenging part. So with the reservoirs taking that out, that makes the treatment a lot easier from that standpoint. So it's high quality, very easy to treat, relatively inexpensive to treat.
Either 61 to 66% of the state's population is drinking Missouri River water. Okay? Most of the people who have that water, virtually all of them, are really glad they have it. You don't hear complaints about, bad water quality from the Missouri and all the various pipelines that are across eastern South Dakota. So there is that personal testimony, not personal, but basically the observation of the users that are saying this water's good.